Jaguar Wright. I know we started to talk on it and touch on it, but I kind of wanted to because she's been circulating on TikTok like crazy. And I started to see this woman. I'm like, I know she looks familiar. Couldn't tell where she's from. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go and dig into her past and kind of see, what she's done. And she's a singer. She's an excellent singer.
Yes.
She used to play the violin. She is, when it
So
comes to
talented.
talent,
Yeah.
this woman is in the embodiment of talent. And the crazy part about it is that she is vocal and very, very vocal. And I guess she did an interview about 2 years ago with a group of some young kids where she started to expose some people. And she started to talk about R. Kelly, where people knew he was a pedophile, where people in that documentary that were saying, oh, we didn't know. She's like, yes, the fuck you did. You guys were the ones getting them for him. So she has seen, because her family was in the industry already.
Yeah.
And she had already a kind of a play in the industry. Not only was she a singer, she was a rapper.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even know that because I think it was a little bit before my time. So I was like, what? I know her more for the singing part of it with Roots, with Jay-Z, and not even her face, just her voice. That's what I remembered. I remembered her voice, not even her face. So started to dig into this, and I'm just like, wow, she's really exposing a lot of things. And she even goes on to say, like, you can see it. The media has you already so fucked up that even if I'm telling you this, you're not even gonna believe what I'm telling you because you're programmed already from the bullshit. She's like, you would literally have to strip everything off as far as what you think, how you think, what you think this life is, because it's fed you bullshit, and really sit down and think about it. She exposes Jill Scott. She exposes Erica Badu.
Mhm.
She was saying Erica Badu wouldn't have been shit if it wasn't the fact that whatever the case may be. She was saying Jill Scott was sleeping around with a bunch of men. I would have never. Because you look at Jill Scott and you see Jill Scott and you think she's this she's the cookie cutter person who's just this bomb ass singer and she holds herself different that you would have never thought that however she got into this industry was that way. This new interview that she did touched on Diddy, touched on Jay-Z, touched on the girls in hip hop and how now every woman that touches the mic is a stripper or ex-stripper, how it is sexualized, how nobody writes their own music anymore. She said, and this was the conversation we were having last week in some reference. We were saying, like, what happened to the women who would actually write? What happened to when, like she said, what happened to when being a tomboy was cute?
Yeah.
And you were a girl and you had flow, but you were cute because you were a tomboy, and that was sexy. Now you got to be with your ass all out doing something strange in order for you to get seen. And so it was just interesting to see it. So whoever hasn't seen it, just look up Jaguar Wright. She's on YouTube. It's
I'm
about
gonna
a
go.
2 hour long interview, but she blows your mind about P. Diddy, how disgusting he is, what he's done, how people have allowed him to do a lot of shit in this industry where he's fucked over a lot of people, and how many people have died. She goes to talk about his ex-wife, was going to write a book about everything. There's actually a video that was circulating on TikTok where her assistant was calling somebody that was going to come in that day to interview her about the book right before she died. And they were talking about what the book was going to talk about. All of a sudden, this girl dies of a pneumonia, but when they come to find out it's a homicide, something else was given to her before she passed. Heavy D was going to write a book, and he ends up having a heart attack.
Pharrell.
I'll be sure. I'll be sure. Writing a book. All of a sudden, this man is sick as fuck, looking like he's 92 pounds wet. Nobody knows what it is.
Yeah.
So, and it all goes back and links to Puff Daddy.
Yeah.
So I just feel like there is so much that she's unloading into her husband and her on the run. They're never in one place. And she says that we're never in one place. That's fucking bananas that this woman has to live like that.
If you want to go down the rabbit hole of the record industry, pull up the videos of Jack Wright because she goes through. I mean,
Yep.
they try to kind of put her off like she's kind of nuts and crazy, but some of the stuff that she puts it together in such a way that you're going, wait a minute, that was, yeah, okay, that was, she talked about Dame Dash and Aaliyah's relationship
Mhm.
and
And
that
how he passed, and how she
he
passed,
passed and
and
how,
Beyonce's career.
took off after. Yeah, so it's really kind of um, for a person in the know who knows a lot of people who is to me, I think she never got her just due with her creativity, her music, rapping, her singing. That woman can sing the roof off. And if you hear
That's a
her
powerhouse voice.
earlier work, but she reminds me that a lot of the folks that are so creative, and I hate this about different industries, maybe Hollywood and the record industry, is that you get so many talented folks that can do certain things, and then the business and then the backstabbing just takes all that joy away from creating. And you
Right,
never get
right.
to the person's full potential of what they can create and how great they could be because you're
Mhm.
in the muck and the mire of the industry. And
Yep.
she kind of you can see it through. I wish it was like the fairy tale kind of things where folks can get, from rags to riches and then make money and then
Mhm.
be happy just, making money on things that they love to do in their passion. But it's like the record industry and the business won't allow you to do that. And it's just
No.
sad to see her talk. She talks about Tevin Campbell and what happened to him. And
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
sad story. And if you want to go down
Yes.
the rabbit hole and you want to get your mind blown, start following Jaguar White, right, in her
But be
video.
receptive of it. Be receptive and be open to listen, truly listen, and don't listen to have a judgment behind it. Because I really feel that at first you're gonna look at her and be like, "Oh, she's full of shit," but she really is not. There's so much she like you said, there's so much that she says that she's been a part of that industry that she has seen firsthand. That's like, how do you not believe this woman? How do you not believe that everything she says that she's been through, it's there's no lie behind it. I really do feel like what she's saying is what she's saying, and so I feel like people need to really take a moment and tune into that because it's definitely something that needs to be heard. It shows the ugliness behind the industry and what they truly do to people and how they really fuck up people and what they do as far as when they say sell your soul, Illuminati. I don't think it's Illuminati. I think you're selling your soul to gain, like Beyonce, Jay-Z, to gain this high level of fame and fortune, and what comes with it is a lot of shit.
I
And so
saw
she touches base.
I saw a clip of Mia, interview with Mia, and she kind of talked about it too. And she was like, I'm not willing to sell my soul. I'm not willing to do certain things to become, because I think she was one of the most talented people I've ever seen in her music. But all of a sudden she hit a ceiling and you didn't hear from her.
She never went anywhere else. Yeah, Maya. You're talking about Maya.
Maya,
Oh, the
yeah, Maya, yeah. And so it's like,
yeah,
beautiful woman. I
she's
love her spirit. I just love, man, I just love her. But it's like
mhm.
didn't get the recognition and the that stardom that I think she deserved.
And this is why I have this issue, especially within the rap industry and or the hip hop industry, where people are like, you have to be seen to be heard. And I feel like sometimes the best artists are the ones that are not seen. And for me, I have so many underground artists in my playlist that are fire as fuck that can beat the shit out of half these people on the radio. And I stand by that because I feel like most of these people didn't have to do the most to get where they needed to get to. And I think it's because now even more so, people are starting to see that the industry ain't shit. They're gonna work you like a dog. They're gonna put you in a contract. You're not gonna receive shit. You're gonna be working and never receiving the money that you deserve.
Yeah.
And so with this, I feel like I definitely respect people who don't ever have to hit the mainstream in order for them to have hits. Because you have someone like Russ who's never been on a mainstream, who's never done a mainstream song on a radio, but has millions upon millions of listeners to the point where he's, like I've said before, he's sold out stadiums in different countries all around the world.
Remember when
So
we interviewed my boy Chief Rhythm out of Connecticut? And
mhm.
I asked him, where do you want to go with this? He said, I don't want to be famous. I don't want to take a choice between the red and the blue pill. I just want to make my music, put it out there, that's good for me because I don't want to go to
Mhm.
somebody's house, get turned out, all this other stuff. He said,
Mhm.
I'm not giving up my
Mhm.
manhood to be out. I don't
Mhm.
want it. I don't want that. And so I
I feel
guess,
like everybody we've talked to has said that,
yeah,
right? Every artist that we've ever had on the show or have talked to has all said the same thing. I never wanted it to go any further than what it is for the love of music.
yeah, because that's the way I think you keep it. You keep it.
Mhm.
That's the way when I write. People always say, why don't you just put yourself out there? No, I don't want to do that because I don't want to give up the creativity and then all of a sudden I'm faking it and putting stuff
It's
together that
diluted.
it dilutes
Yeah.
it makes it meaningless to
Right.
me. And because I've written like 8, 9 books, I still got some in the can that I'm getting ready to put out. But it's like if it doesn't mean anything to me, then it's not going out. It's
Right.
not. It's not. It's just not.
Right.
I gotta feel it. And so that's why it
Mhm.
takes me a while to kind of put it together and then put it out because it's like if I don't feel it, then other
You're
people
not,
aren't going to
yeah.
feel it, or they're going to feel like
Right.
this is not you, this is not who you are,
Mhm.
this is not
Mhm.
how you like, how I notice how you write and things of that sort. Because every writer artist has a signature. You hear them and go, oh, that's so
Mhm.
and so. Oh,
Mhm.
that style of writing is this. Oh, I recognize that. And once you lose that, you lose yourself.
Is Kanye West really crazy? And I'm saying this because we're going to touch base on Kanye West right now.
He put
So
himself
I
on
give,
Mount Rushmore. I saw that. He put himself on Mount Rushmore.
of course he did. He's a fucking narcissist. Of course he did. Who's 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 in touch with God almost damn near. It's Kanye. God forbid. I had to talk about it, even though I kind of didn't want to give Kanye too much light. But Kanye West, and we talked about this last week, somewhat. I don't know if we did it on TikTok or we did it on the show. We talked about Kanye West inspired neo-Nazi merch. I remember I think we touched base on it. And I think it was on TikTok. But his merch is actually being sold online. So Kanye West inspired merchandise is reportedly being sold by various retailers online utilizing neo-Nazi designs, along with his Yay 24 campaign logo. Marketplaces are selling t-shirts among other items with Kanye West's 2024 presidential logo, but made within a pair of anti-Semitic swastikas. Oh, he makes me so angry.
So yeah, you
So
said
there are
he ain't
t-shirts.
crazy. Yeah, he ain't crazy.
There are t-shirts also using the swastika inside of a Star of David, which Kanye tweeted out at the top of December and what ultimately led to his Twitter suspension by Elon Musk for violating the company hate speech guidelines. Anti-hate groups such as the Anti-Defamation League and the Anti-Movement have spoke out against the sale of the merchandise. So I guess distribution has been doing it and people are buying it. So the fact that not only that, but that should tell him a lot of things. I mean, at least for me, you have people buying this willingly
Yeah,
and you don't think racism still
there,
exists.
yeah,
You don't
there are
think there's
people out
people
there who love this
you
kind of
are
stuff.
spilling.
Have you
Go
ever
ahead.
wondered why him and Candace Owens couldn't sell the White Lives Matters T-shirts?
Right.
What happened was, remember they came out the campaign that White Lives Matter. They couldn't
Mhm.
sell. They couldn't sell it. Here's why. There were two radio announcers who bought the trademark when the Black Lives Matters came out. They bought the
Mhm.
trademark to White Lives Matters to keep people from putting those T-shirts out. They're two brothers. They're two black men who did it.
Mhm.
They were on CNN a few weeks ago, and they said, "Well, what are you going to do? Are you going to sell it?" He said, "No, we're not going to do anything with it. We just want to keep it from being marketed and being
Mhm.
people making a profit off it." So that's why you didn't see the White Lives Matter shirt because he was going to do this with that, which would have got the Trumpsters or whatever got him
Yeah.
going. But they can't
Right.
do it. And he was trying. I think Ye was trying to buy it from them, and they were like, "We're good. We're good."
Why are these shirts being sold the way that they're being? Like, that's the shit that bothers me about this man. The thought process behind him. I can say he's smart. I can definitely say he's a genius in his own right. I feel like anybody who has that type of as far as when it comes to music, what he's
Yeah.
put out, his producing, the way he thinks, the way his mind works, it's all fucked up in there. So I feel like somebody who's like that, that's that great in this one thing, is messed up in everything else. And
Yeah.
with him, I just feel like he is he is beyond repair, and there's no helping him at this point. Like there's nothing that you can do to. And then you have people who just like, well, I'm not Jewish. I don't care. Like that shit don't bother me. I'm like, that's what I hear. I hear people say, I'm not Jewish. I don't give a fuck. So what if he's selling it? Who cares? And I'm thinking, but it's not the point. It's just the point that he said that we should have felt bad for Hitler. Like the fuck? What? This man killed millions and millions of people by himself.
So I remember when you had me watch the documentary, and I remember
Mhm.
leaving that documentary saying, this is not going to end well with him. It's not my wish for him. It's just not going to
Right.
end well for, because when I saw him talk to those guys who I guess they were talking business at towards the end, I'm like, this is not going to end well for him.
Yeah, he
And
has a lot of yes men.
there is nobody there to really kind of help steer him in the right direction, because
Mhm.
he's gone and there's nothing you can really do about it. And he's been
Mhm.
able to, in his mind, I'm rich and I have a lot of money. So I must be doing the right thing. I did read a story that he's missing, that nobody's been able to contact him. Then I saw another story where he was sitting, looked like it was in Chicago, where he was sitting just having a in the styrofoam container
That
eating
was
food outside.
old though.
And I'm
Yeah,
like,
you sent me that, and I know that that was had been circulating for some time, but I felt like that was like an old picture that somebody just seen him. And I don't even think that was Chicago. I think that was like somewhere in Cali or some shit because he
yeah,
lives.
and it looked like, this is not going to end well for him. And it's like, okay, we're all watching the train wreck, and then when something really bad happens, nobody's going to really be surprised.
Yeah, yeah, he's digging himself a hole. But I feel like just kind of and to not bring it back up, but like just like Jaguar Wright said, there's a lot of truth in the things that he's exposing. But then I wonder because of the say because of the fact that he has so many deals and so many investments and things, does he have to like kind of tell the truth and then kind of sprinkle some bullshit so that it's not, because I feel like that's what he does. I feel like he lays it on you, he'll talk some shit, and then 2 seconds later there's some drama to kind of cover it up so you don't talk about it no more. And so I feel like he does that a lot. And I don't know how to, I guess I'm not saying it correctly, but I just feel like there's times where he will tell the truth and you're like, I can agree with him, like that kind of makes sense. And then there's times where he just like he goes off the fucking hinges and you're like,
Well,
you can't.
it's a it's like a duality. It's like, you ever meet like people who have mental health issues, and they have mental health issues, but they give you a sprinkle of, they tell you what they see,
Mhm.
and they don't sugarcoat it. It is what it is.
Mhm.
And then you're like, and then all of a sudden they go left, and you go, oh, okay, I was with you for a minute.
Yeah, yeah,
I saw it
yeah.
in there, but now I can't go over there. I can't go over there
Yep.
because because Orlando Brown does the same thing, where you're like, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, whoa, 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 whoa. You almost had me.
he
You almost
sprinkles
had me.
truth and then throws some shit on there. Yeah, he throws some
It's
shit
almost
on
like you
there.
can't
Yeah.
contain it, and it just shoots over, and you go, oh, wait a minute, I gotta remember.
Mhm.
I was watching an old episode of Barney Miller, and Glass was like one of my favorite actors. And it was this guy who was, I guess he said he saw the future, or he came from the future, and he was talking about some things. And Ron Glass was always the guy who wanted to do investments, and he always dressed nice, and he was in the stock market and all that stuff. And he had him going for a while. The crazy guy had him going for a while, and then Ron Glass go, "Oh, wait a minute, you're crazy." Because he had him going. It made sense. And then, oh, wait a minute, I gotta remember, you're crazy.
Like I said, when I watched that documentary about him again, it really made me miss. And I was glad to say that I was in that era of time where I got to see him in his prime. Because what these kids see now is not somebody that I would have even followed suit or even dealt with the bullshit that I dealt with, or like having to see him deteriorate, because that's really what it is. I feel like he was who he was in his prime, and then slowly but surely he's deteriorating. and you see it, he's different,
You know what
so
else I
different.
saw in that documentary when I saw those men talking to him at the end? It was like you could see him going off the deep end, and it was almost like the men that were with him was like, "How are we going to get all his money?"
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
he is not stable. How it was almost like you could see them doing this, like, "Oh, we
And
got
yeah,
him."
because it's yeah. There's no care for him. And that's the problem is that he's no longer surrounded by the people that cared for him. He's now surrounded by yes man people that just whatever the fuck Kanye West wants, that's what we give him. Like you see that everybody who was around him in that circle in the beginning of that documentary, he didn't have them as friends anymore.
Oh,
He's not even friends with the guy who was videotaping.
yeah,
His main
like he
friend who
didn't
was in,
know him anymore. It's like he
yeah,
wasn't even familiar
yeah.
with him anymore.
Chuck D believes that Public Enemy was harassed by the police more than anybody else in music. Chuck D believes that him and his group, Public Enemy, have been harassed by police more than any other act in music. In a special segment on The Guardian, the frontman fielded questions from fans about his past experiences in the UK and his thoughts on the future of hip hop and more. A fan had wrote in and asked him how much police harassment and FBI intimidation did they receive at the height of their popularity. And he says, I don't know about intimidation, but yeah, probably more than anybody in the music, Chuck D responded. It's nothing to be annoyed by. It is what it is. The most I could do was to make songs about it on Public Enemy's first album, Yo Bum Rush the Show. We said the governments are responsible. Governments plural because governments like to split up human beings, but music likes to unite the people. Considering Public Enemy's legacy of activism, both within music and beyond other fans, also sending questions about political nature. When asked what it would take for the US to become a more equal society, the 62-year-old pointed again to the need for a solution that would factor the international political landscape instead. I That's really all it says about that. But I kind of was like, when I read the article, I was like, I don't feel like they were the ones that got harassed the most.
I think so.
I feel like when Fuck the Police came out and NWA came out, they were harassed with police at their show. They were harassed with people always, when it came to selling their CDs and being bullied and police were, I feel like they got a lot of backlash and a lot of police harassment around them. But then again, you know, for me, Public Enemy was a little bit before my time. I was still very young. So I don't know how much harassment they
I'll
got,
tell
but
you
I
this.
do feel like NWA got a lot of harassment.
So public, if you go back and listen to Public Enemy's message and their music, it is
Mhm.
at a frequency and the sounds there. You ever listen to Public Enemy and drive down the highway? You're going to speed. You're going to go flying down the highway because you're so amped and jacked
Mm.
up. If you're doing a road trip, put Public Enemy in your rotation. You will get there 2 hours before you thought you were going to. Because their message and their music, it was attacking the government, it was attacking the establishment, and it was educating. It was conscious
Mm.
rap. It was educating. Especially, I was in college when they were coming out, and it was educate. You were looking at things differently. You were feeling the same way, but you couldn't articulate it. And Public Enemy did it through rap, and folks
Yeah.
were scared. They were
Mm.
hanging around. They had the Fruits of Islam around. They had Farrakhan's ear. They
Oh
were they were
wow.
dangerous. They were
Wow.
dangerous. And so,
That's one hip hop group I never really looked into the way that I should have.
oh, go through the cap. They
So
were
honest.
what they were saying. It was like sticking to the minds of the youth. And
Mm.
now you look at music now, it makes no sense. It's about guns, how much money I got, how many women I got, all this other stuff. Public Enemy, they were saying some stuff that if they ran their course and young people held on to that music, it would be a different society as far as the youth because they had to
Yeah.
attack that music to get it out of here. You had a lot of conscious rappers. Queen Latifah was conscious. There were
Yeah.
a number of conscious rappers that were out. KRS-One. They had to get him out of here because what he was. Matter of
Mhm.
fact, I got something on my TikTok. KRS-One, the same thing Kyrie got in trouble with. KRS-One was rapping about that years ago. He
Oh,
was breaking
really?
down the
Did you send it to me?
Bible. Yeah, he was breaking down the Bible in rap. And the song I want y'all to look at is Why Is That? Because he was breaking down the 12 tribes of Judah. He was breaking that
Oh, yes,
all
I do.
down.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they were like, oh no, you gotta go. You gotta go. And so when those groups start going on the Arsenio Hall show, then Arsenio had to go.
Yep, his show got canceled super quick.
So they
That's
put the silly kind
why.
of bubblegum rap on. Oh, you can do that all day. But when Public Enemy,
Mhm.
KRS-One, all those conscious rappers were coming out with this stuff, educating people through the music, they were like, oh no, we can't educate. We can't
Mhm.
have them educating. And so the music industry kind of made a shift. The party, shake your booty, and all the negative elements of rap. But these brothers, public, I can see why they're being harassed, and the FBI was after because
Mhm.
they were like the Black Panthers of music.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
educating. You were grooving, but I dare you, I dare any of you, put in a Public Enemy CD and drive down
That's
the
what I'm
highway. You're gonna be doing 95 miles per hour down the highway, and you're gonna be like this with a scowl on your face, like, yeah,
Face, yep. I can see that. I
and
definitely have to take a
booming,
look.
booming. Don't
Yeah.
don't believe the hype.
Yep. That's one of the songs I do remember. Yep. That is one of the songs I do remember.
And
That, but I don't recall a lot of that
they did
because it was
something.
like
They would
90s,
like mix in different. They would mix in all the hit records in one song, and they would sample it and chop it up so fine you never recognized it.
right?
Never recognized it. So there is there is a there was a sample. They did 5 samples in one record. I can't trust it. There are 5 samples of hip hop records that they sampled in the song. And if you're not listening carefully, because the frequency and the sound, the way they were
It's
doing it, it was
mixing
slicing.
that
And
up.
that's when they started going after samples because of Public
Hmm.
Enemy.
You can't trust it. I'm gonna listen to
Can't
that. I'm
trust
gonna
it.
put that.
Yeah. They did the Humpty dance. They did they were putting it in their samples. Nobody could detect it. And then they start clamping down on, oh, you got to pay for the samples. But they were chopping it up so well that folks couldn't recognize it. And Flavor Flav was like the hype man because Chuck
Mm.
was so strong. He was so strong with it.
You
It
needed
gave you
somebody
kind of
to
like an
balance it out.
entertainment. You were being entertained and educated at the same time. And so he
Yeah.
was kind of like a little distraction, but he was co-signing
Mhm.
everything. Yeah, I could see where they were being harassed. And they're probably not
Hmm.
taken off stage. They used to have the S1Ws in cages, folks with guns on stage.
Oh
With
wow.
Professor Griff. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, they were
wow.
after
Yeah.
them.
I need to. I'm
Yeah.
gonna do some digging because I definitely want to know. That's intriguing to know, and just listening to that, I never knew. So like that just caught me to know that that's kind of what they went through, and just with you telling me even that more just makes me kind of want to dig into their music. I never I've heard their music, the stuff that I have heard, but I've never really dug into that group. And I think I don't. I guess it's because maybe it was. I always felt it was a little bit before my time, so I didn't. And then I always kind of thought they were like an NWA of
No,
hip hop.
no.
So I was like, why do I have to listen? It's almost the same thing. So now that I know that, I'm gonna take a listen to it. I want to
What
see what
one of
what
the
makes
coldest
sense.
lines Chuck D ever said? Um, he's like, I got a letter from the government the other day. I opened and read it. It said they were suckers. Picture me, because they wanted them to enlist in the army or whatever. He would say this stuff, and he's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He was articulating what we were feeling, but we
Yeah,
had never heard
yeah,
it in rap before.
yeah, yeah.
It's
It was a
crazy.
game changer. It was a game changer.
Remember X Clan?
Hmm.
They had to get out of. They were. Oh, they had to get out of. They were
Yep.
dressed in African garb, and they were talking. They were hitting the Congos, and folks were like,
Mhm.
you know, oh, they had to get out of here. The other group, Arrested Development, they had to
Yeah.
go too.
And I used to, man, they were awesome when they came. Like that was like a part of me in the time that I grew up where I loved Arrested Development just because of just everything. They were so different. And they didn't even make it past what, the second album? They were
Pickable
gone.
Planets, same thing.
Okay. Nobody talks about them ever.
They had to go.
Ever.
They were conscious. They had to go. They had to go. All those conscious rap groups and conscious rappers, they
Yeah.
had to get out of it. The music industry is like, oh no, we can't educate them. We got to entertain them
Yeah.
and keep them not
Yeah.
thinking, dumb everything
That why do
down.
you think mumble rap is mumble rap? Because we might as well keep you stupid and dumbed down instead of being able to hear a message or learn anything from
Yep.
it. That's why I feel mumble rap is mumble rap now. I feel like because any kids, this generation of kids that are growing up, it's just stupidity. They don't know anything. They're not trying to learn anything. They're not trying to educate themselves. And then you have these kids that come out and you don't understand shit that they're talking about nothing. Absolutely nothing. So Benzino calls out DJ Khaled and Funk Flex for quote unquote using him. So Benzino has taken a few shots at DJ Khaled and Funk Flex because he believes they both used him to get famous. The former owner of the Source magazine came at the pair via a lengthy post on Twitter. We were just talking about this. Instead of going face to face, let's just write a whole fucking paragraph on Twitter and said that they never gave him his flowers for providing them with a platform to succeed. He goes on to say, it's funny how when I owned the Source and EPD, the Source Awards, I gave a lot of these guys who they are, successful major platform, and some even a bag. But when I fell, they all acted like they didn't know me. I just smiled how these big celebrities now back then needed my platform and I helped them, he wrote. I remember DJ Khaled dying to DJ at the Source Awards and to be in the magazine and I made it happen. Or Kevin Hart wanting to host and I made it happen. Benzino continued, Funkmaster Flex. Flex, another one. I let him DJ. Now these dudes act like I'm a stranger. People don't give a fuck. They use you with no reciprocation. He goes on to say that all the years in this industry, he's never seen so many fake and obnoxious. He concluded, falling is a part of life. You fall, you get up, you keep going. I'll be up again. I'm from the dirt. I'm a hustler's hustler. I got good karma. One thing about me is I never switched up. I'm the same now as I was when I was getting it. And I always showed love and gave love. So Benzino has has been around and been known recently because of the shots that he's taken on Eminem. He's had this long-standing issue with Eminem, and he goes into lengthy conversation. This man has gotten into arguments with people on Instagram Live, fighting because of Eminem, and he's come for him again because Eminem was recently inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and he said that they have no respect for our culture, black or hip hop, and if you don't agree, you're racist. Period. Point blank. So Benzino has just been known for the most part to go on tangents and he's talked about his daughter. He's gotten into fights with his baby mama on live. He's gotten arrested while on live. I used to feel that Benzino was what he said he was, which is a hustler's hustler, because he showed and proved that where he came from and then where he went with the Source magazine and how he did actually, he was definitely in as far as hip hop was concerned. That magazine had all the artists at that one in the middle of 90s to 2000s. He had everybody that was anybody in the Source magazine, and everybody. If I'm not mistaken, I have like a Tupac Source magazine somewhere downstairs in mint condition. So I do agree with him in the sense of I think he did put a lot of people on. But the fact that this man never shuts the fuck up, I feel like he kind of like buries everything that he's done with his own noise, if that makes sense. Like he doesn't allow himself to be recognized because he's always saying something that you can't get past that noise. So no one wants to give this man the flowers that he deserves.
Well, it sounds like he wants to be acknowledged for some of the things, and that's cool. And
I mean,
I
yeah,
hear, and again, we talked about not going to social media, but going face to face with other people. And I think a part of the problem, a big problem with men today, that I think it could be a number of sources of where this is coming from, is as men, we got to get out of our feelings and be men. You know, you
mm,
getting all in your feelings about all this stuff, and you just it, get out of your feelings, bro. If you a hustler and you're doing all this and you come from, that shouldn't even affect you. You're moving on. You're moving on and you're doing whatever you do. But
I
it seems
think
like
he's
today,
affected because he got blackballed.
yeah, but it's then
So that's why he's affected.
do what you do. You said you from the gutter. Do what you do. Do what you do. Quit getting caught up in your feelings.
And do you think it
And
makes him weak because he's in his
I'm not
feelings?
saying he's weak, but
No, I'm
if
saying
you
what
get
because
too
of how he's acting.
if you
It's because
get
he's
too
reacting off
caught
of
up,
emotion.
yeah, if you get too caught up in your feelings, you get nothing done. You don't accomplish anything getting caught up in your feelings. You just in your feelings. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
You know the saying, fuck your feelings? That's where it comes from. If you're getting caught up with your feelings all the time and, oh, they didn't do this, nobody's going to sit there and go, oh, okay, well, we're going to get, no, be a man and say, okay, that's who you are. I'm going to, I know where you
You
stand. I
should
know where I
know
stand.
that.
I'm moving on.
Yeah. You
I'm
should
moving
know that
on.
as a person. You should know what the industry consists of. So that's why I feel like I agree with you in that sense when I just say like he talks so much that it really just hurts him. It hinders his growth. And people don't respect him and look at him as a joke when they don't really realize that he did have a point in time where he was big time in the industry, in the music industry, rubbing elbows with these artists and actually making a name for himself. So that's kind of why I feel bad for him in a sense where I'm like, you just shut the fuck up. Let the action speak before your mouth does so that people can actually hear you because now you're just a fucking joke. Like your daughter's talked about more than you.
Yeah.
Your daughter's respected more in the game than you are.
It's like if you did something for somebody, they never acknowledge you for it, and then they come back and lie about it. Okay,
Yeah.
I know what I did. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna go and explain to people or defend it. The truth stands
Yeah.
on its own. So if that's the
Yeah.
way you want to roll, fine. But I'm not gonna get in my feel. I won't mess with you anymore. But I'm not getting in my feelings over that. It's a waste of time. It's a
Mhm.
waste of time,
Mhm.
and it's almost like you're begging for acknowledgement. You don't have to beg for
Yeah.
anything. Let your work, let your deeds stand on its
So,
own and get out of your
yeah.
feelings. Nobody cares about your feelings and how you felt about that.
Mm.
How you get on Twitter. To me, it's just clickbait. You want attention. Do something
Nobody
to get
wants
some
attention. He
attention
has
instead of
something.
complaining about what people didn't do, what they didn't say, how they didn't acknowledge you. Get out of your as men. We got to get out of our feelings and do the work. Period.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I feel like I can see exactly where you're coming from when you say that because that's exactly what I was thinking in those same amount of words. It just to me, I just feel like you're shitting on yourself little by little and you're not allowing your work to speak for itself. And whatever you've done, you've already drowned it out that nobody even gives a fuck.
One of the things I liked about Obama that a lot of people didn't like is that he put the work in. You ain't got to brag about it. You don't even really have to talk about it. People
He
start
didn't.
seeing it later
Yeah, and he
and saying,
didn't.
okay, yeah, he did it. Oh, yeah, he did that. So he ain't boasting and bragging and tweeting, oh, I did this, I did, or lying about something. Hey, I'm going to put the work in, let the work speak for itself, and I'm moving on. I ain't sitting there saying, well, I did this and I did that, and you should say thank you, and you should, be grateful that I did this. He ain't do none of
Mhm,
that. I'm going to
mhm.
work every day doing what I got to do, and I'm going to let the work speak for it because a lot of the stuff that we do, sometimes it doesn't, you don't see the results of it until 1, 2,
Yeah,
5, 10 years down the road
yeah,
that you did
yeah,
something.
that's true. Unless, if I'm thinking of it this way, could it be that he's saying it because he's not being put on the way that he put people on? So it's maybe not the fact of see me, more or less of the fact like now he needs the help and the dudes that he helped ain't helping him now.
But he
And
kind
maybe
of,
that's why he's talking his shit.
but I see the contradiction. I'm from the gut. I came from nothing.
And then you can write,
You
yeah,
can
I see
do it
what you're saying.
again. You can do
Yeah,
it again. If you did it before, then it's like,
do it
okay,
again.
I fell. Let me dust myself off. I'm gonna do it
Get
again.
back up.
And now I'm
Yeah,
wiser for it. Instead of
true.
getting on social media talking to people, I did this, I did this, I did. You owe me. No, nobody owes you
Yeah.
anything. If you grimy and you did it before, do it again.
R. Kelly denies Jocelyn Savage's has had a baby in a new interview from Iron Bar, saying that she didn't have a child. So we talked about this on TikTok, but we didn't bring it to the show last week. There was rumors circulating saying that Miss Jocelyn Savage had a baby. So R. Kelly gives his first interview from jail. I don't even know why the fuck they're giving this man interviews. But speaking with R. Kelly, denies being the father of the baby with Jocelyn Savage or that she even had a child at all. I can just say Jocelyn is my fiance, and I love her, and she loves me. Huh? Excuse me. And
In a
ooh, that
letter
took a lot.
headed document.
Huh? Okay, I'm sorry. Woo, that was gross. It's so hard to read. It's so hard to read. And oh God. R. Kelly says she is not in my case. None of that. She's not against me. Later, he would deny a new baby. Hell no, she didn't have a child, he says. Earlier this month, the jailed singer's fiance, Savage, released a picture of a new baby girl believed to be believed to be a father by Kelly. On social media, Savage wrote Ava Lee Kelly, 12/08/2022.
Wow.
In a separate post, Savage provided a statement of joy. She goes on to say, my baby girl, Ava, when you were born, my whole world shined so bright. I knew that it was no longer about me anymore. It was about us. Though the world is cold, I promise to always protect you. I am so happy to be your mother and bring you so much joy. Earlier this year, Kelly's lawyer, Jennifer, denied Kelly fathering a child with Savage. So then where is this baby coming from? Because they're saying that she's so supposedly the rumor is that that was from a fake page and that's not even her page wherever that baby picture came from. But there was a letter that was submitted, a court stating that she was engaged to the incarcerated singer. In a letter, Savage stated, I am Robert Kelly's fiance, and also that she is not the victim that the government portrayed her out to be, and that R. Kelly was amazing to her. How lucky was she to not be one of the girls who were treated like shit? But I heard, but whew, okay. this is why I don't like talking about this shit because it pisses me the fuck off. And he is never going to see the light of day. If it is his kid, it is. If it's not, no one gives a fuck. And the fact that you guys had a girl, you should be even more scared of the fact that you're bringing in a little girl into this world that's under Kelly's name or even family. So supposedly that is not her kid, and that is fake. Fake news is from what Kelly is saying.
We need to
Okay, sorry.
we need to get to the bottom of, can this man have conjugal visits? Because I'm still stuck with, how do you have a baby? You in jail? I don't, I'm stuck with this. Like, you're not married to this woman. I didn't know they had such a thing as conjugal visits with this. I thought when you were in
Not even.
jail, that's why you get punished. You can't have no nookie while you locked up in jail. So when I first
know
heard
you
this story,
I know you can.
yeah,
But there has to be something when it comes to a fucking pedophile. Like there has to be
yes,
something where he's
yes,
in the city of Chicago and they hate him so much that nobody
right.
wants to deal with.
So
Nobody.
all
So
pedophiles that were married or had a fiance get to have sex and have babies while they're in jail. It just, the story never set well with me, because you can't have nookie in jail unless you're having nookie with each other in
and
jail.
he ain't got no money, so he can't be paying people off. So he can't be paying guards off unless there is some secret place of money that he got somewhere that nobody knows about. And this man is living his best life in jail.
Maybe she's just crazy,
Or
and
maybe maybe he's done a number on her that maybe she's just ape shit. And I really do feel that with her, she is the special case of all the women in that group because she has denied it from the beginning. But how, if every other woman was treated the same way? Like, is it post-traumatic stress? Is it the fact that whatever happened, you created something different in your head because you didn't want to see the reality of it? Because that's a thing. When you go through trauma like that, you turn it around and you make it so that it's not like we would never know because she is gun ho on behind that man,
So,
and that's crazy.
so answer this question for me. Why do women engage in relationships with men who are locked up? Was he ain't gonna be cheating on her with another woman at least?
Look, I
She
cannot
already
answer.
know where he is. It's this fantasy.
I cannot answer for the masses. I cannot answer for the women who fuck around. And I there has been nothing sexy to me about a man in jail. I don't find that sexy. That means that I gotta send commissary, and I ain't got money like that. So I'm not about to do that. I'm not putting money on your books. You are not that damn fine that I gotta put. No, I don't know what why women find that attractive or sexy. It's the bad boy thing behind it because he's a bad boy, so maybe that could be a thing. But honestly, for me, I can't speak on it because it's never been a thing where it's like I've seen 90 days in jail or some shit locked up or some shit they have on that damn show. I couldn't even fucking watch it because it made no damn sense. Like it was just it was I was dumbfounded to think that you met this guy and y'all were pen pals, and off of reading what he wrote, you fell in love with him.
I,
And then he tells you, well, baby, it wasn't me. I was set up. And and you're okay, I'll wait for you. Like get
yeah,
the
maybe everybody left him, and now he's writing you like, girl, when I get out of here, I want to have a baby. We're gonna go half on the baby, and writing them sweet R. Kelly lyrics. And like, oh, he only writes me and he only loves me. So I'm gonna make this happen, and we're gonna be a. I don't get this. I didn't get the concept that she wrote the book. Now then she was having a baby, and I'm like, okay, I'm still stuck on conjugal visits. And this is the third time we're talking about this. I'm like, how does this work? I don't see this
I don't
working.
think so. I honestly don't believe that it's a thing with them. I think they see each other. I think it's all fake bullshit. I think it's just all bullshit. And I don't know. Like, okay, so you could say with men too. Men, you've seen how men will there there is a Facebook page.
There is a Facebook. I thought you were gonna bust out start singing.
There's a fucking Facebook page for inmates and pen pals for women.
How
And
did you
the
do
only reason,
that?
okay, so the only reason I know this side story, it ain't because I was looking for this shit. My cousin is in jail in Iowa. So he
Mhm.
calls me and he's like, cuz, take my picture and my inmate number and post it on this page. And I'm like, what the fuck? What? He's like, yeah, you can get pen pals from this page. So I'm like, that's the thing. He's like, yeah. So of course, because I'm fucking super nosy, I go on Facebook and there is a page, an inmate page where you post their number, put it out there, and then girls will then go into this whatever app they use in jail and they will look you up. There is also a site for women. I was scared because I went into the women's section and some of these bitches, like when I look at their mugshots, I'm like, oh, she could fuck me up. Like I'm scared. Like,
That might
and
be
that's the picture. They don't show you smiling with the filter and the you looking up. No, they're showing you side to side.
that might be
That's what you.
that might be a new date idea for me. I'll play like I'm a prisoner, and I'll be like doing the prisoner pose, like inmate so T-bone.
754 3
Oh,
2 1 0.
T-bone.
Oh, his name is T-Bone, girl.
Oh,
You know he didn't
T-bone, I
have
saw your
money.
picture on Facebook, and when do you get out? Girl, I get out next week.
Oh my goodness. You have to be some type of fucked up to
Wow.
find that attractive. You have to be some type of fucked up to find that attractive. And that is a thing. And I'll send it to you so you can see. But he gave me his information and I have to post his picture up and see like if he gets hits and likes and stuff like that. So,
You remember the OG show with Tracy Morgan, where I
oh
don't
my
know
god,
if
I
you
used
ever
to
watched
love
it
the
with Pooh
show.
Cat. He was, I guess,
Yes.
he was a pen pal, Pooh Cat. She came out, she started stalking him. That's one of the funniest
You
episodes
know,
of that show.
that show people slept on, and that show was fucking genius, dude. I loved that show.
He was sitting at the, I guess the center he was living at, and all of a
The
sudden he
big
went
girl.
like this. He was like, "Oh man, I sent a present." I'm like, "Oh no!" And she was outside and stalking him. Oh man, that's one. If you haven't
Yeah.
seen that episode, it's one of the funny episodes with Phuket. But
Watch
also,
watch both of them.
I've seen situations where I remember working at an agency where they had it was like a jail with the agency, and
Uh-huh.
security guards or the guards who are women getting impregnated by the guys that were incarcerated. They keep those hush hush, and
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
So they were getting impregnated by these guys. Hey, when you locked up and you feeling freaky, you will say anything. Like that's why I don't drink scotch, because scotch
yeah.
make me make promises I know I can't keep. So you will say anything. Scotch and Jameson. Those are things that I can't keep these promises. I'm going to say it, but I know I can't keep the promises. So when you locked up like that, you can come up with some listening to music and coming up with some lines and all that other stuff, and you can get folks to, really kind of
Think
say, you
about
know
it
what?
though. You have the parole officers. I've seen, and that was like a big thing. Orange is the new black. The men that would be around all these
Yes,
women.
yeah,
You see the women that are on the men, and then you think like, okay, you're a parole officer, so you're dealing with shit 24 hours probably, and probably your outside home is probably shit too.
yep,
And then you got these men in there that you see every day, so you kind of pinpoint who the ones are, whatever the case may be. You're bound to, I guess, because that's your environment. That's where you're at 24 fucking 7 days a week, next to probably your husband and your friends, and then the coworkers that you go outside with.
yeah,
So I could just imagine how it could break you down as a person, and you could do something stupid like that and
yeah.
just fuck up and just find ways to be in a prison somewhere getting doing something strange for a little piece of change. I just don't know how these people could do it, but shit happens, I guess, right? People are human and they make fucking
Desperate times calls for desperate
yeah,
measures.
for desperate measures. And so I can see it. I mean, looking at some of these shows and watching you, you're just like, oh,
It
I
happens
guess.
more.
And
It
you
happens
think,
more than we
and then
think.
you know.
Prisons
Yeah.
it's human nature. It's going to happen. It's going to
You can't
happen.
help
It's
what
opportunity.
your situation is and where you're at that moment. Like
Yeah,
I don't.
if there's an opportunity, it's going to happen.
And then, like I said, most of these women or men that are in that police, that type of career, you can see that they're 90% miserable. They're in a place where they don't want to be. They're probably in a marriage where they don't want to be. And then you got these men here. And like I said, you watch these shows and there's some truth to it. So you're just like, man, that possibly could happen. Or how that one girl got impregnated by the dude. If you ever seen Orange is the New Black,
Yeah,
she fell in love with the officer,
yeah.
ended up getting pregnant, ended up losing her baby because the officer turned around and right away went from I fucked up to I'm back to a police officer again, and this is not gonna happen. And you know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. It's a crazy, crazy world. That's
Watch
why I
out for
say
Phuket.
all these men out there, just so you know. When she come out, she looking for your ass. And when you come out, she looking for your ass. You better give her what the hell you told her you were gonna give her. Because I'm telling you, all these men will and I'm no offense when I say this. The big girls who show attention to the men in jail and they tell you, baby girl, I promise you. You're the one.
Yeah,
When I
I'm
get
gonna
out
pay
of
you.
here, I'm gonna make you
I'm gonna
my
pay
wife.
you back for all the stuff you gave me, girl. I'm gonna. Oh, Phuket. Yeah, that. If you haven't seen that episode, that's the funniest episode in the
Yes.
whole.
My cousin tells me this shit. He be using women, older women, to get money. Don't make me a part of this shit, cuz he's like, bro, give her your number and text her and tell her. No, the fuck. I am not in jail with you, sir. I got a life to live.
You said
I got
you are in jail for a reason.
your ass in the fuck. You gotta leave me the fuck alone. Got me texting bitches like, hey, I'm somebody's cousin. He's in jail. His number is 4729. He wanted me to tell you that he likes you. And if you can call him, put some money on his books. What the fuck I look like? Oh yeah, tell Slim that I got him. Get the fuck out of here. No. So random. I had to like I put myself in that position where he called me and then the girl called him and they were both in prison and they were both talking to each other on the phone. And I had to put it on mute and walk away and let them have their moment. I felt like I contributed to the world that day and I just did my part as a human being in the world to not stop love. It was in the name of love.
That's lust. That ain't no love.
Oh, they were looking like, what the fuck are you doing, shit? So I said, I don't know. He told me to put her on the phone. I put her on the phone. I put him on the phone and I walked away. Like, as long as I'm not hearing their nasty ass conversation, do you, boo?
I didn't know you were a pimp, but anyway.
Does the red hair not tell you how I live? Anybody needs any hookups, call 1-800. Red hair, I don't care. That's